Hello students, greetings of the day. Have you all attended your unit test? Yes, well. So today we are going to start our second unit in history, that is from trade to territory. So do you know what is meant by trade and territory? Yes, trade means the process of buying and selling of goods is known as trade. And what is meant by territory? A territory is an area of land under the jurisdiction of a ruler or a state. A territory is an area of land under the jurisdiction of a ruler or state. Okay. So in this class, we are going to learn about the rise of political power of English East India Company and the events and impact of Battle of Plassey and Buxar, and also about the Carnatic Wars and Mysore Wars. Okay. So let us start our lesson. In the 15th century, Europe witnessed an era of geographical discoveries through land and sea routes. So in 1478, Vasco da Gama of Portugal discovered a new sea route from Europe to India. The main motive behind those discoveries was to maximize profit through trade and to establish political supremacy. So in the 15th century, they discovered many geographical discoveries through the land and the sea routes. Okay. Then in 1798, Vasco da Gama. So already we have saw in the first unit. So Vasco da Gama, he is a Portugal sailor. He discovered the new sea route to India. So the main motive of these discoveries is to maximize the profit of trade and to establish their political supremacy in India. So the ruler of East India Company in India became effective under the conquest of Bengal. The main interest of the company in India was territorial and commercial expansion. So the main motive of the European countries was to expand their territories in India, and also they need to commercially expand their trading companies. Okay. So now let us start the establishment of political power by English East India Company. So how the English East India Company, they expand their East India Company, how they expand their political power in India. Okay. So first let us see about the Battle of Plassey. So this Battle of Plassey, it was fought in the year 1757. Alivardi Khan, the Nawab of Bengal, died in 1756, and his grandson Sirajud-Dowla ascended the throne of Bengal. So Alivardi Khan was the Nawab of Bengal, and he was died in the year 1756. So after his death, his grandson Sirajud-Dowla, he climbed on the throne of Bengal. Do you know what is meant by throne? You have seen the serials and the picture. Okay, a throne. What is meant by throne? It is a ceremonial chair of a king. Okay. So after the death of Alivardi Khan, his grandson Sirajud-Dowla, he ascended the throne of Bengal. The British, taking advantage of new Nawab's weakness and unpopularity, seized the power. So Sirajud-Dowla decided to teach them a lesson by attacking over their political settlement of Calcutta. So what the British they did mean, they used the advantage of the new Nawab's weakness. They seized many powers from the Nawab of Bengal. Okay. So Sirajud-Dowla, he decided to teach a lesson to the British. Okay. So how he decided to teach the lesson? He used to attack the political settlement of Calcutta. So Sirajud-Dowla, he attacked the political settlement of Calcutta. Then the Nawab captured their factory at Kazim Bazar. He also captured the British factory at Kazim Bazar. On 20th June 1756, Fort William surrendered, but Robert Clive recovered Calcutta. So on 20th June 1756, Fort William was surrendered to the Nawab. Then Robert Clive, he recovered the Calcutta, that is, he regot Calcutta from the Nawab. On 19th century 1757, Treaty of Alinagar was signed where Sirajuddaulah conceded practically all his claims. You can see the picture of the Battle of Plassey here. Okay. So this is the battles under British rule. You can see the map. So on 9th February 1757, there is a treaty. Treaty means it is an agreement. Okay. So there is an agreement which was signed between the Sirajuddaulah and British. So the British, they agreed to considered all the claims of the Nawab. They agreed to give up all the demands of the Nawab. The British then captured Chandranagur, the French settlement, on March 57. The Battle of Plassey took place between the British East India Company and the Nawab of Bengal and his French allies. Okay. So what the British did means they captured the place Chandranagur. It is a French settlement place. Okay. So the British, they captured Chandranagur in March 1507. So the Battle of Plassey took place between the British East India Company, then the Nawab of Bengal and his French allies. Okay. It was fought on 23rd June 1757. So this battle was fought on Battle of Plassey. It was fought on 23rd June 1757. The English East India Company's forces under Robert Clive defeated the forces of Sirajuddaulah. So in this Battle of Plassey, the English East India Company's forces, they defeated the Sirajuddaulah. Okay. So after the collapse of Bengal, that is after the defeat of the Battle of Plassey, the company, they gained a huge amount of wealth from the treasury of Bengal. So because Sirajuddaulah, he was defeated by the British. Okay. So the East India Company, they got a huge of wealth from the treasury. So treasury is a place where all the wealth was stored. Okay. So the East India Company, they got a huge amount of wealth from the treasury of Bengal, and they used that amount to strengthen their military force in India. Then the beginning of British political sway over India may be traced from the Battle of Plassey. So the beginning of the British political power in India was started from the Battle of Plassey. So it was the most decisive battle, and it marked the initiation of the British rule in India. So after the Battle of Plassey only, the British, they make a stronger political power in India. Okay. So they marked the initiation of the rule in India for the next 2 centuries. So after this battle, they ruled India for over 2 centuries. Okay. So this Battle of Plassey, it was fought in the year 1757 with the Nawab of Bengal and the French allies. Okay. So in this battle, the British defeated the Nawab of Bengal. Next one, Battle of Buxar. So this Battle of Buxar, it was fought in the year 1764. Okay. So after the Battle of Plassey in 1757, the company was granted undisputed right to have free trade in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. What is meant by undisputed? It got the full rights to have free trade with the places Bengal, Bihar and Orissa. Then it received the place of 24 paraganas in Bengal. What does mean by paraganas? Paraganas means at the time villages. Okay. So after the Battle of Plassey, this British East India Company, they got the right to have free trade in Bengal, Bihar and Orissa, and they also received 24 villages in Bengal. Then Mirzapur, the Nawab of Bengal, however, fell into arrears and were forced to abdicate in favor of his son-in-law Mir Qasim. So Mirzapur, the Nawab of Bengal, he has fell into arrears. He has not able to pay the agreement which was given to British. Okay. Then he renounced his throne in favor of his son-in-law Mir Qasim. Then Mir Qasim, he ceded Burdwan Midnapur and Chittagong. What is meant by ceded? That is, he given these places to the British. Mir Qasim, he had given Burdwan, Midnapur and Chittagong to the British, and he shifted his capital from Murshidabad to Mongri. Mir Qasim, he shifted his capital from Murshidabad to Mongior. Mir Qasim soon revolted as he was angry with the British for misusing the districts. What is meant by districts? That is free duty passes. That is the few duty passes it was already given to the British after the Battle of Plassey. Okay, the British, they used to misuse their free duty passes. Okay, so Mir Qasim, he was angry with the British East India Company. So however, having been defeated by the British, he fled to Awadh. So but the British, they defeated Mir Qasim, and Mir Qasim, he fled to, that is, he ran away to Awadh, and he formed an confederacy with Suraj-ud-Dawla and Shah Alam. What is meant by confederacy? It is an alignment. Okay, it is a group or union. He formed a confederacy with Siraj-ud-Dawla. He joined with Siraj-ud-Dawla and Shah Alam against the British. So you can see the picture of the Battle of Buxar. Next, the battle was fought on October 22, 1764 at Buxar, a small fortified town within the territory of Bihar, located on the banks of the Ganges river about 130 kilometers west of Patna. So this battle of Buxar, it was fought on October 22, 1764 at a place called Buxar. So that only this battle is known as the Battle of Buxar. Okay, so this Buxar, it is a small fortified town, and it is one of the territory of Bihar, and it is located on the banks of the river Ganga about 130 kilometers west of the Patna. Okay, so it was a decisive victory for the British East India Company. So in this battle, who got victory? The English East India Company. Okay, so Shuja-ud-Dawla, Shah Alam and Mir Qasim were defeated by General Hector Munro. So in the Battle of Buxar, Shuja-ud-Dawla, Shah Alam and Mir Qasim was defeated by the British General Hector Munro. Mirzafar was again placed on the throne. So after that, the Mirzafar was again placed on the throne by the East India Company. On Mirzafar's death, his son Nizam-ud-Dawla was placed on the throne and signed the Allahabad Treaty on 20th February 1765, by which the Nawab had to disband most of his army to administer Bengal, a deputy subedar. Okay, so after the death of Mirzafar, his son Nizam-ud-Dawla was placed on the throne by the British. Okay, so for this, a treaty was, that is an agreement was signed between the British East India Company and Nizam-ud-Dawla. That agreement is known as Allahabad Treaty. Okay, so it was signed on 25th February 1765, and according to that agreement, the Nawab had to break up his army and he has to administer Bengal through a deputy subedar nominated by the company. So the Bengal has to administer by the nominee of the East India Company. Robert Clive concluded two separate treaties with Shuja-ud-Dawla and Shah Alam too. So after the defeat of the Battle of Buxar, the Robert Clive, he concluded two separate treaties, that is agreement with Shuja-ud-Dawla and Shah Alam second. So dual system of government was started in Bengal. What is meant by dual system of government? That is two government. Dual system of government means two government, that is the government by the native ruler and also by the British. It is known as the dual government. Okay. Next, let us see about the Carnatic Wars. In the 18th century, three Carnatic Wars were fought between various Indian rulers, British and French East India Company on either side. Okay, in the 18th century, the three Carnatic wars were fought. Okay, so this three Carnatic wars was fought between the Indian rulers, British and French East India Company. Okay, so traditionally Britain and France were rival countries in Europe. What is meant by rival countries? This Britain and France they were competitors in Europe. They were competing with each other for the supreme power, for the superiority. In Europe itself, this Britain and France were the rival countries. Okay, so their rivalry continued in India over trade and territories. So it resulted in a series of military conflicts in the south known as the Carnatic Wars, which spanned from 1746 to 1763. So this Carnatic Wars was fought between the year 1746 to 1763. These wars resulted in establishment of political supremacy of British East India Company. So this Carnatic Wars, it results in the political supremacy of British East India Company in India. So what are the three Carnatic Wars? That is first Carnatic War, second Carnatic War and third Carnatic War. So the first Carnatic War was fought between 1746 to 1748. The second Carnatic War was fought between 1749 to 1754 and the third Carnatic War was fought between 1756 to 1763. So now let us see one by one. First Carnatic War. So it was fought between the year 1746 to 1748. Okay. So on the outbreak of the Austrian War of Succession in Europe, the English and the French were on opposite camps, increased the hostility between these two forces. So the rivalry between the English and the French were increased. Okay, so the echo of this was felt in India. First one, Battle of Adayar. So this Battle of Adayar, it was fought in the year 1746. The first Carnatic War is remembered for the Battle of Santhome, fought between the French forces and the forces of Anwaruddin, the Nawab of Carnatic, who appealed the British for help. So the first Carnatic War, it was remembered for the Battle of Santhome. Okay, so this first Carnatic War was fought between the French forces and the forces of Anwaruddin. Who was Anwaruddin? So Anwaruddin was the Nawab of Carnatic, and Anwaruddin, he requested the British for his help. Okay, a small French army under Captain Paradis defeated strong Indian army under Mafzal Khan at Santhome on the banks of the river Adayar. This was the first occasion when the superiority of well-trained and well-equipped European army over the Indian army was proved to be beyond doubt. Okay, so a small French army under Captain Paradis defeated the strong Indian army under Mafzal Khan at Santhome on the banks of the river Adayar. So that only this battle was known as the Battle of Adayar. Okay, so in this battle, this was the first occasion when the superiority of the well-trained and well-equipped European army over Indian army was proved beyond doubt. That is, by this army, it was came to know that the European army was well-trained and well-equipped than the Indian army. Next one, Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. This treaty was signed in the year 1748. So the war was ended by the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle. So this Battle of Adayar. So after every war, there will be a treaty between the victorious side and with the defeated side. Okay, so this Battle of Adayar, it came to an end with the treaty. That is, it came to an end with the agreement of the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, which brought the Austrian War of Succession to an end. So it makes the Austrian War to came to an end. Okay, so under the terms of this treaty, Madras was returned back to the English, and the French in turn got their territories in America. So according to the Treaty of Aix-la-Chapelle, the Madras was returned to the English. Okay, so it was returned back to the English, and the French, they got their territories in North America back. Okay, so this is the terms of the Treaty of Axilla-Chaplet. Next one, Second Carnatic War. The main cause of this war was the issue of succession in Carnatic and Hyderabad. So the what is the main cause of the Second Carnatic War? It is an issue. There is a problem in the succession in Carnatic and Hyderabad region. Okay, so the Second Carnatic War was fought in between the year 1749 to 1754. Okay, Anwaruddin Khan and Chanda Sahib were the two claimants on the throne of Carnatic. Okay, where Nazir Jung and Muzaffar Jung were the claimants on the throne of Hyderabad. Okay, so for the succession of the throne of Carnatic and Hyderabad, two persons were appealed. Okay, so for the throne of Anwaruddin Khan and Chanda Sahib were the two persons who claimed for the throne of Carnatic, and the Nazir Jung and Muzaffar Jung were the two persons who appealed for the throne of Hyderabad. The French, they supported Chanda Sahib and Muzaffar Jung, and the British, they supported the other two claimants. Okay, so who are the other two claimants? That is the Anwaruddin Khan and Nazir Jung. Okay, so Chanda Sahib and Muzaffar Jung was supported by the French, and the Anwaruddin and Nazir Jung was supported by the British. Okay. Next one, the Battle of Ambur. So this Battle of Ambur was fought in the year 1749. So finally, Dupleix, Chanda Sahib and Muzaffar Jung formed a grand alliance and defeated and killed Anwaruddin Khan, the Nawab of Carnatic, on 3rd August 1749 in the Battle of Ambur. So the French governor Dupleix, Chanda Sahib and Muzaffar Jung, they formed a grand alliance. What is meant by alliance? It is an association. Okay, so these three members, they form an union, and they defeated and killed Anwaruddin Khan, the Nawab of Carnatic, on 3rd August 1749 in the Battle of Ambur. Okay, Muhammad Ali, the son of Anwaruddin, fled to Tiruchirappalli. Now it is known as Trichy. Okay, so Muhammad Ali, he is the son of Anwaruddin. Okay, he fled to Trichy, and Chanda Sahib, he fled to Trichy. Okay, so Chanda Sahib became the Nawab of Carnatic and rewarded the French with the grant of 80 villages around Pondicherry. So after the flood of Anwaruddin to Trichy, Chanda Sahib, he became the Nawab of Carnatic, and he grant 80 villages around Pondicherry to French, because Dupleix, he is the French governor. He only helped Chanda Sahib to ascend the throne. Okay, so for that, Chanda Sahib, he gave 80 villages around Pondicherry to the French. Okay. In the Deccan too, the French defeated and killed Nazir Jung and made Muzaffar Jung as the Nizam. Okay, so already we have know that the French, they supported the Muzaffar Jung. Okay, so what they did means, the French, they defeated and killed Nazir Jung and made Muzaffar Jung as the Nizam. Okay, the new Nizam gave ample rewards to the French. What is meant by ample rewards? That is plenty of rewards. So the new Nizam, Muzaffar Jung, he gave plenty of rewards to the French, because the French only helped him to capture the throne. Okay, so he appointed Dupleix as the governor of all the territories in south of the river Krishna. Muzaffar Jung was assassinated by his own people in 1751. Okay, so Muzaffar Jung, he was the Nawab of Hyderabad. Okay, he was assassinated. What is meant by assassinated? Assassinated means murdered. Okay, so Muzaffar Jung was murdered by his own people in 1751. Okay, next, Salabat Jung, he is the brother of Nazir Jung. He was raised to the throne by Bisi. Okay, so Salabat Jung, he granted the northern cross excluding Guntur district to the French. So for his help, because the French governor Bisi only, he made Salabat Jung as the Nawab of Hyderabad. Okay, so for that the Salabad Jung he granted the northern Sarkars excluding, that is except Guntur district, all other places in the northern Sarkars was given to the French. Okay, so at this time the duplex power reached its zenith. Okay, that is the duplex he has the full power. Okay, next one, the Battle of Arcot. This Battle of Arcot was fought in the year 1751. Okay. So in the meantime, Dupleix sent forces to besiege the fort of Trichy, where Muhammad Ali had taken shelter. Okay. So already we have known that after the death of his father, Muhammad Ali, he fled to Trichy. Okay. So what Dupleix did means he sent his forces to surround the fort of Trichy. Okay. So in that fort only Muhammad Ali had taken shelter. Okay. So Chanda Sahib, he also joined with the French in his efforts to capture the Trichy. So Robert Clive's proposal was accepted by the British governor Saunders, and with only 200 English and 300 Indian soldiers, Clive entrusted the task of capturing Arcot. Okay. So Robert Clive, what he did means, Robert Clive's proposal was accepted by the British governor Saunders. Okay. So this British governor, he had only 200 English and 300 Indian soldiers, and with this the Clive, he has taken the task of capturing Arcot. His attack proved successfully, that is the Robert Clive, he captured Arcot. Robert Clive defeated the French at Arni and Kaveri Park. With the assistance of Major General Stringer Lawrence, Chanda Sahib was killed in Trichy. Okay. So Robert Clive, he defeated the French forces at Arni and Kaveri Park with the help of Major General Stringer Lawrence, and he also killed the Chanda Sahib at Trichy. Then Muhammad Ali was made as the Nawab of Arcot under the British protection. The French government recalled Dupleix to Paris. Who was Dupleix? So Dupleix, he is a French governor. Okay. So after the defeat of Battle of Arcot, the French government, they recalled Dupleix to return to Paris. Okay. Next one, Treaty of Pondicherry. So this treaty was signed in the year 1755. So Dupleix was succeeded by Godhu, who agreed the Treaty of Pondicherry. So after Dupleix, who has taken the charge instead of Dupleix as the governor? Godhu. So he agreed the Treaty of Pondicherry. So according to the Treaty of Pondicherry, both the powers, they agreed not to interfere in the internal affairs of the native states. So according to the Treaty of Pondicherry, both sides, that is the British East India Company and the French East India Company, they agreed not to interfere in the internal affairs of the native states. Then they has to retain their old positions. Okay. So the new forts should not be built by either power. The treaty made the British stronger. So by this treaty, the British became much stronger in India. The Second Carnatic War also proved inconclusive. That is, the Second Carnatic War, it was not concluded. It does not come to an end. The English, they proved their superiority on the land by appointing Muhammad Ali as the Nawab of Carnatic, because Chanda Sahib was made as the Nawab by the French. The British, they defeated Chanda Sahib and they made Muhammad Ali as the Nawab of Carnatic. Okay. So by this, the English proved that they were superior than the French in India. The French were still very powerful in Hyderabad. However, the predominant position of the French in Deccan Peninsula was definitely undermined in this war. That is, their predominant position in India was eroded by this war. Okay, that is the Battle of Arcot. Next one, Third Carnatic War. So the Third Carnatic War was fought between the year 1756 to 1763. So the outbreak of this 7-year war, that is, this war takes place for 7 years. So the outbreak of the 7-year war in Europe led to the Carnatic War in India. Okay, so the outbreak of the 7-year war in Europe, it led to the Third Carnatic War in India. By this time, Robert Clive established the British power in India in Bengal by the Battle of Plassey, which provided them with the necessary finance for the Third Carnatic War. Okay, so by this time, Robert Clive, he established his British power in Bengal by the Battle of Plassey, because in the Battle of Plassey they got huge wealth from the Nawab of Bengal. Okay, so which provided them for the necessary finance for the Third Carnatic War. Okay, Count de Lally was deputed from France to conduct the war from the French side. Okay, so Count de Lally was sent by the French government to conduct the war from French side. Okay, he easily captured Fort Saint David. Then he ordered Bissey to come down to the Carnatic with his army to make a united effort to push the British out of Carnatic. So Count de Lally, he was sent by the British to take part in the Third Carnatic War on French side. Okay, then he easily captured Fort Saint David and he ordered Bissey to come to the Carnatic with his army to join with him to push the British out from the Carnatic region. Okay, so by taking this event as an advantage of Bissey's departure, because Bissey now he moved out from Bengal. Okay, so by taking this as an advantage, Robert Clive sent Colonel Forde from Bengal to occupy the northern circles. Okay, next one, Battle of Vandivash. So this Battle of Vandivash was fought in the year 1760. Okay, so the decisive battle of the Third Carnatic War was fought on January 22, 1760. Okay, so this the decisive battle of the Third Carnatic War was fought on January 22, 1760. Okay, so here the English army under General Eyrecourt totally routed the French army under Lally. Okay, so the English army under General Eyrecourt, they defeat the French army. Okay, so within a year the French had lost all their positions in India. So within 1 year the French, they had lost all their French positions in India to the British. Okay, so then Lally returned to France where he was imprisoned and executed. So Lally, then he returned back to France. After he moves to France, he was imprisoned by the government and he was sentenced to death by the French government. Okay, next one, Treaty of Paris. So this Treaty of Paris was signed in the year 1763. The 7-year wars was concluded by the Treaty of Paris. So this Third Carnatic War was fought for the 7 years, and the 7 years wars, it came to an end by the Treaty of Paris. So the French settlements including Pondicherry were given back to the French. So according to this treaty, the French settlements including Pondicherry were given back to the French. Okay, but the French was not allowed to fortify these places. The French was not allowed to fortify these places. They were not allowed to gather armies also. Okay, so the French dominance in India, practically it came to an end. Okay, so by this Third Carnatic War, the French dominance, it came to an end in India. Okay, so next let us see about the Mysore and its resistance to the British expansion. Okay, so resistance means the Mysore, it refused to accept the British rule. Okay, so the state of Mysore rose to prominence in the politics of South India under the leadership of Hyder Ali. So the state of Mysore, it rose to an important position in the politics in South India under the leadership of Hyder Ali. He and his son Tipu Sultan played a prominent role against the expansion of British Empire in India. Okay, so Hyder Ali and his son Tipu Sultan, they played an important role in the expansion of British Empire against the, they were against the expansion of British Empire in India. Okay, so both of them they faced the English with undoubted courage. So Hyder Ali and his son Tipu Sultan, they fought against the British courageously, that is very bravely they fought against the British. In 1761 he became the de facto ruler of Mysore. Then he also proved to be the most formidable enemy of the English in India. So Hyder Ali, he is an important enemy, most formidable enemy to the English in India. Okay, so the war which was fought between the British and the Hyder Ali was known as the Anglo-Mysore Wars. Okay, so first let us see about the first Anglo-Mysore War. This first Anglo-Mysore War was fought between the year 1767 to 1769. Okay, so what is the causes for this first Anglo-Mysore War? The main cause of this war was Hyder Ali's growing power and his friendly relation with the French became a matter of concern for the English East India Company. So, okay, so Hyder Ali's power was growing, increased in India, and Hyder Ali, he had a friendly relationship with the French. Okay, so the British and the French were already, they were rivals. So Hyder Ali, he had a friendly relationship with the French. So the English, they did, East India Company, they did not like their friendship. Okay, so then the Marathas, the Nizam and the English, they entered into a triple alliance against Hyder Ali. So the Marathas, the Nizam and the English, these three members, they entered into a triple alliance. That is, triple alliance means three members, they form an alliance against Hyder Ali. Okay, so this was the cause of the first Anglo-Mysore War. What is the course of the war? So the Nizam, with the help of British troops under General Joseph Smith, invaded Mysore in 1767. So the Nizam, with the help of the British troops under General Joseph Smith, he invaded Mysore in 1767. So here Hyder Ali, he defeated the English and he captured Mangalore. In March 1769, he attacked Madras and forced the English to sign a treaty on 4th April 1769. So Hyder Ali, he defeated English and he captured English and the Nizam, and he captured Mangalore, and he also attacked Madras and he forced the English to sign a treaty on April 4th 1769. Okay, so that treaty was known as the Treaty of Madras. Okay, so this Treaty of Madras was signed in the year 1769. Okay, so what's the terms of the treaty? At the end of the war, the Treaty of Madras was signed between Hyder Ali and the British East India Company. So according to this treaty, both the parties, they returned the conquered territories and promised to help each other in case of any foreign attack on them. Okay, so according to the Treaty of Madras, this Treaty of Madras was signed between Hyder Ali and East India Company. According to this treaty, both the parties, they agreed to return their conquered territories and they promised to help each other if any of the foreign power attack on them. Okay, so this was the end of the first Anglo-Mysore War. Okay, so there are 4 Anglo-Mysore Wars. This first Anglo-Mysore War was fought between 1767 to 1769. The second Anglo-Mysore War was fought between 1780 to 1784. The third Anglo-Mysore War was fought between 1790 to 1792, and the fourth Anglo-Mysore War was fought on 1799. Okay, so next let us see about the second Anglo-Mysore War. So the second war, it was fought between 1780 to 84. Okay, so what's the cause of the second Anglo-Mysore War? The English, they did not fulfill the terms of the Treaty of 1769. That is, the English, they did not fulfill the terms which was agreed by them in the Treaty of Madras in 1769 when Hyder's territories were attacked by the Marathas in 1771. So Hyder, he did not got any help from the British. Okay, then British, they captured Mahi. It is a French settlement within Hyder Ali's jurisdiction. Okay, so but what the British, they captured Mahi. Okay, then it led to the formation of an alliance by Hyder Ali with the Nizam and Marathas against the English in 1799. So after this incident, the Hyder Ali, the Nizam and Marathas, these three members, they jointly form an alliance against the English. Okay. Next one, course of the Second Anglo-Mysore War. So in 1781, the British General Ayerkut defeated Hyder Ali at Port Novo. Okay. So in 1781, the British General Ayerkut, he defeated Hyder Ali at Port Novo. The Mysore forces, they suffered another defeat at Solinger. Okay. So at the time of the war, Hyder Ali died of cancer. Okay. So after the death of Hyder Ali, his son Tippu Sultan, he continued the war against the English. Then Tippu, he captured Brigadier Matthews, the supreme commander of the British forces, along with his soldiers in 1763. But it was a serious loss to Tippu. So even though he captured the Brigadier Matthews, he is the supreme commander of the British forces with his soldiers, but this war, it was a serious loss to Tippu. Okay. Next one, Treaty of Mangalore. On 7th March 1784, the Treaty of Mangalore was signed between the two parties, that is between Tippu Sultan and the British. The Treaty of Mangalore was signed. So according to this treaty, both the parties, they agreed to return the conquered territories and also the prisoners of the war. Okay. So according to the Treaty of Mangalore, both the parties, they agreed to return their conquered territories in the war and also the prisoners. Okay. Thus Warren Hastings, he saved the newly established British dominion from the wrath of powerful enemies like Marathas and Hyder Ali. When the British lost all their colonies in America and some other places, Warren Hastings lost nothing in India. He recovered all the places by the Treaty of Mangalore. So instead, he made the British power very stronger in India. Next one, Third Anglo-Mysore War. So it was fought between the year 1790 to 1792. So what's the cause for the Third Anglo-Mysore War? So Tippu was trying to seek alliance of foreign powers. Okay. So Tippu was trying to seek alliance of foreign powers against the English, and for that purpose he had sent his ambassadors to France and Turkey. Okay. So Tippu Sultan, he sent his ambassadors to France and Turkey to get their support against the British. Okay. Then Tippu, he attacked on Travancore in 1789, whose ruler was an ally of British. So Tippu, he attacked Travancore. It is a place in Kerala, and this ruler of Travancore, he was a ally of the British. Okay. So the English, the Nizam and the Marathas, they entered into a triple alliance against the Mysore, that is against Tippu Sultan. Okay. This was the cause for the Third Anglo-Mysore War. So what's the course of this war? So Tippu fought alone, which continued for 4 years. Okay. So Tippu fought alone the war, and this war continued for 4 years. Then it was fought in 3 phases. Okay. So the attack of the English under General Meadows failed. Okay. So the attack of the English under General Meadows failed. Therefore, in December 1790, Cornwallis himself took the command of the army. So Cornwallis, he took as commander of the army, and Cornwallis, he captured all the hill forts which obstructed his advance towards Srirangapatnam, and he reached near its outer wall. Cornwallis, he captured all the forts and he reached the outer wall of Srirangapatnam. Okay. So Tippu, he felt desperate, that is he is hopeless. Okay. So he opened his negotiations with English. He liked to talk with the English. He liked to came with an agreement with the English. So Cornwallis, he also agreed, and the Treaty of Srirangapatnam was concluded in the year 1792. So this Treaty of Srirangapatnam was signed between Cornwallis and the Tippu Sultan. Okay. So according to this treaty, Tippu surrendered half of his kingdom to the allies. So Tippu, he surrendered half of his kingdom to the allies. Then Tippu, he agreed to pay 3.6 crore of rupees to the English as the war indemnity. So as the war loss. Okay. So due to the loss in war, there is a loss for both the sides. Okay. So but in this war, the British, they defeated Tipu Sultan. Okay. So Tipu, he agreed to pay 3.6 crore of rupees to the English as war indemnity, and he surrendered 2 of his sons as hostages to the English. Then English, they acquired Malabar, Coorg, Dindigul and Brahmahal. All the places they was captured by the British. Okay. Next one, 4th Anglo-Mysore War. So this 4th Anglo-Mysore War, Tipu Sultan did not forget the humiliating treaty of Srirangapatnam and imposed upon him by Cornwallis. Because in the treaty of Srirangapatnam, it was an humiliating treaty for Tipu Sultan. He did not forget all the humiliating terms in the treaty, and he imposed upon him by Cornwallis in 1790. Okay. So what's the causes of this 4 Anglo-Mysore War? So Tipu, he sought alliance with foreign powers against the English and sent his ambassadors to Arabia, Turkey, Afghanistan and French. Okay. So for getting the support of the foreign powers, Tipu, he sent his ambassadors to Arabia, Turkey, Afghanistan and French. Okay. Then Tipu was in correspondence with Napoleon, who invaded Egypt at that time. Okay. Then the French officers came to Srirangapatnam, where they founded Jacobin Club and planted the tree of liberty. So this was the cause for the 4th Anglo-Mysore War. What's the course of the war? So Wellesley declared. So Wellesley, he is an Governor General of British East India Company. Okay. So Wellesley declared war against Tipu in 1799. The war was short and decisive. As planned, the Bombay army under General Stuart invaded Mysore from the west. The Madras army, which was led by Governor General's brother Arthur Wellesley, forced Tipu to retreat to his capital Srirangapatnam. So on 4th May 1799, Srirangapatnam was captured by the British East India Company. Tipu fought bravely and was killed finally. So in the 4th Anglo-Mysore War also, the Tipu Sultan, he fought bravely against the British and he was finally killed by the British. Thus the 4th Anglo-Mysore War, it came to an end and the whole of Mysore was put on the hands of the British. Okay. So Mysore after the war. So after the 4th Anglo-Mysore War, the English, they occupied Kanara, Wayanad, Coimbatore, Dharapuram and Srirangapatnam. Okay. Then Krishnaraja Odayar of the former Hindu royal family was brought to the throne of Mysore. Then Tipu's family was sent to the fort of Velu. So this was the result of the 4th Anglo-Mysore War. Okay. Students, have you all understood this? So in this session, we have saw about the Battle of Plassey, Battle of Buxar, and about the 3 Carnatic wars and the Mysore wars. Okay. So have you all clear about it? So in the next session, we can see about the Anglo-Maratha wars. Okay. So your today's assignment is, there is an glossary. Okay. So at the back of this lesson, last page of this lesson, you find some glossary. Okay. Let us see it. So here you can see glossary. So that is confederacy. Confederacy means it is a league or alliance. Next one, ecclesiastical, that is relating to the Christian church or its clergy. Interest means assign the responsibility. Hostility means opposition. Negotiation means discussion aimed at reaching an agreement. Next one, paramount. Paramount means supreme. Next, predominant. Predominance means the most powerful. Okay. So you have to read this glossaries and write each one 5 times. This is your assignment today. Okay. Thank you, students.